So in TopSpin 2k25, how do you improve your timing? Now this is definitely going to be on a lot of people's minds because it isn't easy. I must admit, I was trying it to start with and I thought, you know what, I am absolutely rubbish at this game. And I've slightly got a little bit better. The first recommendation, as it does tell you, is to go through your TopSpin Academy. I've still got to finish off the last couple of lessons, but just going from the basics to start with, like genuinely, these, I'd say probably the first couple here weren't necessarily difficult, but then when we're looking at kind of the advanced, it definitely got a little bit harder. Now, what I would suggest is going through all of these and then we can kind of divulge all that information to start with. But the way I do it as well, if I've kind of know the basics, I know what I'm doing. All I do then is just go into an exhibition to start with. Go to the expedition. You can obviously go for the doubles or singles. I personally would go for singles, and you can even go for, say, your character, just because personally mine isn't any higher level. I'm going to have to go for a kind of lower character preferably, but we will go for like a level 25 AI. And what you want to do to start with is just make it easy for yourself. Don't go in thinking that you can absolutely slap anybody at this, because it most definitely is not the easiest game in the world. What we can do from here then is obviously go for the easy mode, which I think I'm on. Actually, I don't even know, to be fair, but we'll go through it anyway. And you've got to practice, and it's as simple as it says, but that is the kind of the big thing with it, is you do need to practice at this game. It's not easy to kind of get to start with, and some things will definitely help you better than others. Like for instance, with my player right now, he isn't necessarily the greatest player in the world. He's kind of at the lower level, so you're going to have to grind him up anyway, unless you are obviously what on earth was that? Unless you are obviously kind of just bothered about the new people or going with like Feder or something. That obviously is going to be a great one in itself. But as you can see, like, she is absolutely slapping it from me. But she's managing to get out twice in a row here, and I feel like I'm not on very easy. But it's all about getting that timing, and sometimes getting the timing wrong is going to be the key thing here. Making sure you're always moving is going to be a big one, because obviously when it comes to the movement side of stuff, you need to be absolutely on it. Otherwise, you're just not going to give yourself a good stretch to start with. If I'm all the way over on the right hand side and she slaps it down the left, that already is going to be a big one. So making sure you're into that middle is going to be a cracking bit, because then you are set for left and right. And to be honest, unless they get an absolute perfect shot, it doesn't really matter too much. So as we see here, I'm going to go for just a normal serve. Because my character isn't necessarily the greatest, I'm not going to go for a great serve, like a ace serve, just because it's going to be very difficult in itself. Managing to get down the line there, and she's going to try and bring it across, managing to get it across there again. And again, just always trying to set yourself back into the middle is going to be a great start to kind of go for, in terms of just being prepared for the shot. Timing itself is just difficult in itself. There's nothing that's going to warrant you kind of going for it a little bit easier like that. So as you can see, just slapping it that way, always good. Get myself back down to the middle, and then you go straight back to the middle. So I know now, ooh, that's a big hit. She's going to then potentially try and loft it across. It's gone out, and luckily it bounced first. But that is the kind of start of being more prepared to be able to not rush your shots. That's going to be the number one rule there. Again, when you're going for the serves as well, you want to play it safe sometimes as well, and not give a double fault. That might not help. But when we're looking at the serve, you sometimes can get it pretty absolutely bang on, slapping it across the other side, staying down the middle, and we can move it across and get the good serve. And in terms of how that works, like the perfect there, that is going to be personally just absolute practice. There is very little room where I'm like, I could tell you exactly how to do it. It's not like kind of like the baseball. Oh my God. And serving might not be my thing either. But whereas like the baseball, the advice I would have given is when you go into swing especially, it was almost like you needed to take a breath first. You needed to take that pause before you try and hit it. With this, it's all about timing, and I don't know what they're called. I don't know if there's a specific mechanic that's called, do you know, where it's kind of like, as we see, it's like you've got to stop it at a certain point. There isn't necessarily a wait for that. It's just having the reaction time almost for it. So it is just learning that, and to be honest, once you've gone a fair few rounds, especially if you are using your character, you will get used to their sort of level. You'll get used to how quickly the bar goes up, how they move, and that just comes with just generic playing, and that is the whole point. Oh my god. That is just the whole point of this game. It isn't necessarily to be the best straight away. It's about grinding the game out, really trying to just get in tune with the character and how the mechanics work. It's a brand new game, so I can't imagine there's too many people that are absolutely crazy with this to start with. It's all about learning. The game's not been out for, what, 13 years was it or something like that? It's absolutely nuts. So it isn't necessarily a game where everyone's going to be crazy. It's going to be a start. Some people are going to be really good, and then some people are going to struggle quite a lot with it still. But as we see then, so now we're on very easy. Well, I'm assuming this is very easy. If it's not, then I've got better in the past hour. You want to then start to progress yourself. You want to go and put yourself on easy, then medium, and bring the game up, because this is only going to be to start with. Like there isn't too much kind of going on with this. It's very bog standard shots. There's nothing crazy. Like, I'm not putting too much spin on it. She's not lobbing it enough. I'm not slicing. There's very little kind of actual tennis management going on here. And obviously, obviously that is going to be increased. That's poor. Increased with the level that you go up. So that is something to always remember, that even if you are on the absolute basics, when we go up higher, that's going to be something that really hits you hard, and you think, hold on a second, they weren't doing these shots before. How on earth am I hitting that out there? So it is a game where I would suggest just keep on grinding out, and I would recommend 100% before even starting, going to do your practice, what do they call it? The academy. That is going to be very, very helpful for just telling you the buttons, to be honest, and letting you know how to do stuff, like going for the kind of better serve and all of that. That's absolutely vital information that I will obviously bring out more stuff on kind of returning, different sort of shots, angles that you can go for, and different key elements, but that is predominantly the start of it. There isn't necessarily anything too advanced there, and we're not going to get across to that, are we? No. Then that's exactly game management. I was watching the ball far too much, needing to bring myself back into the middle, and that's where the late shots really will kind of come in. That's where the perfects are always going to be brilliant. So when you are going up the higher level, then you can almost hit perfect every time, especially if you can get the power. Even if you can get good, you know full well that the return back is going to be difficult. So you're already applying the pressure. Like, I'm in the middle here. I'm kind of bringing the game to it, and that's the whole point of tennis. You want to be the one that's hitting it rather than the one that's running around constantly. So in terms of timing and just in general gameplay, that's poor. You want to make sure that you're just utilizing one character to start with. That's going to be best. And to be honest, I would go with your created player, because that's where it's going to be online. That's going to be through the career. That's going to be the best kind of person to use to start with. If you wanted to try a bit of Federer and a bit of Murray to start with, to kind of get yourself in with one of the better tennis players, then obviously that is going to be decent as well. Like, that's kind of the whole point of the game, is to play with these characters as well. But definitely the My Creator, I would suggest giving a go and really kind of getting your teeth into it to really see how you can increase your level on TopSpin 2k25. So that's going to be my kind of pointers. I will kind of keep you updated as we go through this game and see how we go. Let me know down below if you've got any other pointers for anybody else as well, and I will catch you all for the next one. Peace.